There is a deeply ingrained idea in business called the omnipotent view of management. This is the belief that a manager or CEO is directly responsible for an organization's success or failure. But academic research points to an opposing theory, known as the symbolic view. This perspective argues that leaders are largely figureheads, and a company's outcomes are actually dictated by external forces, completely outside the manager's control. These two ideas sit in strict opposition. One gives the CEO absolute power, while the other reduces them to total helplessness. The reality exists somewhere in the middle. A manager's decisions are heavily restricted by two powerful, often invisible boundaries. To understand how a business actually operates, we must drop the myth of the superhero executive. Instead, we must map the specific macro and micro pressures dictating whether a company survives. The first boundary is the external environment. The external environment refers to the massive economic, political, and cultural forces operating outside the physical walls of the organization. One of the most rigid external constraints a company faces is demographics. Demographics are the statistical characteristics of a population, like age and income, and they establish strict limits on market viability. This chart shows Japan's 2020 age breakdown. Notice the heavy concentration in the 45 to 74 ranges, compared to the critically small segment under 15. An aging population permanently restricts workforce availability and consumer spending in youth sectors. By contrast, this chart shows Egypt's age breakdown from 2019. Here, the under 15 category dominates at 34.2%. Operating in a hyper-youthful market requires a completely different corporate strategy, prioritizing rapid job creation and entry-level consumer goods. Drilling down from global demographics, managers face immediate constraints from their task environment. This is the specific, localized web of stakeholders surrounding the organization. This diagram shows the central organization surrounded by nodes like unions, competitors, media, and governments. These entities constantly pull at the company. Every managerial decision is checked by specific demands of regulators or immediate pricing threats from rival firms. Managers cannot rewrite these external realities. Their only option is to build an internal system capable of reacting to them. That internal system is the organizational culture. Organizational culture is the shared set of values, principles, and traditions that dictates how a company responds to the outside world. There is a strange statistical paradox in how we treat this internal system. Research shows that 84% of managers believe culture is critical to business success, yet 65% think their own organization's culture is not effectively managed. This happens because culture is often treated as a vague mission statement. In reality, it consists of measurable elements. This diagram shows the dimensions of organizational culture. Look at the contrast between stability and innovation. A stability culture discourages creativity, while a risk-taking culture rewards testing unproven ideas. Employees learn these unwritten rules through specific channels. They absorb the company's priorities through repeated corporate stories about past successes, and through daily office rituals that reinforce expected behaviors. Culture also takes physical form through material artifacts. The layout of an office, the expected style of dress, and specific acronyms used in meetings all broadcast the true values of the company. Culture acts as the internal operating system. An executive might draft a brilliant strategy to counter a competitor, but the ingrained culture ultimately determines whether the employees are capable of executing it. Viewing the business through this lens clarifies the manager's actual job. They are not omnipotent dictators, nor are they helpless symbols. They are architects trying to align their internal culture with external threats. For your own career, success relies entirely on learning to read an organization's hidden culture before you accept a job offer. Many professionals now look for workplace spirituality. Workplace spirituality is a highly evolved culture where organizational values promote a sense of purpose through meaningful work, prioritizing mutual trust and individual development over raw output. To find this, you have to do some investigative work. Ignore the polished corporate website. Instead, carefully observe the physical surroundings, the visible symbols in the lobby, and the way employees interact with each other to decode what the company truly values. You cannot control the demographic shifts or market crashes of the external world. But by mastering the invisible rules of culture, you control your ability to navigate the corporate ecosystem and thrive within it.